Hey there fellow sleep seekers, my name is Adriana reporting for the Sleep Sherpa, and today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the Helix weighted blanket. So far on this channel, I've had quite a few different opportunities to review weighted blankets. Now, when it comes to, taking on this role as a person who does look at a lot of different products of a particular specific industry, there can be a lot of repetition. And with that repetition can come the feeling of being kind of bored because you want something just different and unique. And miraculously enough, with the weighted blankets, it's always been different in some fashion. So either the weight is different or the size of the blanket is different. The color is different. The fabric type is different. So I've seen a lot of variation, which has been like really refreshing, and it's actually quite uncommon. So it's really cool, and it's fun. It's fun to see all the different types of things that are available to you. Now, what should you know about weighted blankets? So weighted blankets are known to mimic what is known as deep pressure stimulation. This is something that helps your body feel at ease, it helps you relax, it helps you fall asleep more easily. This is the type of thing that would be utilized to just basically reduce anxiety. Now, while there haven't been any large clinical trials that prove the effectiveness of weighted blankets, they definitely are effective. I mean, from my own experience, I can definitely testify to that. The amounts of literature you can find on the internet will testify to that. So they're effective. There just may not be that massive clinical trial that will be enough to convince everyone, but they are effective, and it's interesting and it's different. And for those that are looking to kind of ease whatever discomfort they may be feeling and whatever is keeping you from sleeping, something like this is a great remedy. I've had experiences where I couldn't sleep to the point where I've had to take medication to go to sleep. And for some people that's helpful, for some people that's needed, for others it's not something that they want to be a long-term thing. And so if you are looking for a way to kind of like calm yourself in a natural manner, this is one great way to do it. Making changes to your routine, like your sleep hygiene matters, making changes to your environment, and and having certain tools in your sleep arsenal, they can really help you maximize on getting that rest. And I feel like weighted blankets are great. In my personal experience, I found that weighted blankets help me fall asleep a lot faster. When I was younger, I don't really recall having any kind of sleep issues. It would just kind of be like a non-issue for me. And then as I got older, that really began to change. And that's never a fun thing. Feeling like you can't relax is like such an unnerving feeling, because it's like when you're laying in bed and you're trying to get that rest and you're there with the intention, but something is just stirring in your mind. It can feel really challenging. It can make one feel really defeated. But it's interesting. So something like a weighted blanket can be so interesting. I mean, yeah, like I remember the first few times that I've used it, and every time I've used a weighted blanket of any kind, I've fallen asleep like within minutes. I wouldn't even remember like when I fell asleep, and I would wake up feeling a lot more well rested. And I think that the science behind it is accurate. And I can say that from personal experience, having used a weighted blanket and having used it for more than just 5 minutes, I can tell you that it does have an effect, and that I think it's something that is worth trying at least once. Because for some people, this is such a novelty. If you happen to stumble upon a weighted blanket and you find that you're not completely thrilled with it, the great thing is a lot of people are intrigued by this type of product. And most people don't know that a weighted blanket exists. They think the concept is really bizarre, and it is a little bit bizarre. It's like, why would you want weights on you? But there is some comfort that comes with a weighted blanket. It has its charm, let's say. So should you buy this? Should you be concerned like, oh, what if I don't like it? I have no doubt that you will find someone in your close circle of family or friends that will be like, wow, that's really cool. I'll take it. A product like this will always find a home. Luckily, when it comes to sleep products of any kind, they will almost always find some kind of home, as long as you're willing to ask around, right? But I do encourage you to try this out for yourself. Now, so what's really cool about the Helix weighted blanket? I mean, the first thing I can tell you is that it's different from what I've seen before. What does that mean? I will show you. Oof. So this fabric is referred to as sheared fabric. In manufacturing terms, it is known as the cutting off of the fleece of sheep and other wool-bearing animals using special shears. A really simple way to put that is it's faux fur. It's fake fur, synthetic material that's made to look like animal fur, and it's really cool. This kind of fabric I have not yet seen on weighted blankets, so for me this is really unique. On the opposite side, they have this like velvet-like fabric, but so this sheared fabric to me is like really unique. I think it's really nice. It automatically speaks of comfort, and like it's got a great soothing feeling. I have to say that one of the things that has so far impressed me the most about the Helix weighted blanket is, believe it or not, its price. Usually weighted blankets are actually really pricey. They're very much on the pricier side. Typically it's difficult to find one for like less than $150. That's usually like the standard price, and that's considered on the low end. And with Helix, theirs is priced, I believe, at $99, which is unbelievable. My first impressions of it are this. Based on the look and the feel, it does not seem like a cheaply made product. And the reason why I feel like this is worth pointing out is because when someone hears that something is like priced on the lower end, or it's the lowest price, sometimes that may mean that the quality is a lot less than wonderful. And that's not the case here. So based on the previous blankets that I've seen before, this is really similar in quality, if not identical, at such a smaller price. You may be wondering, how is it that Helix can sell this at such a low cost, whereas other brands can't or won't? So my assumption is this. And it's the simplest explanation, and it's, you know, just obviously the most apparent thing. So Helix is a company that makes sleep-related products. They have a whole line of things that you can buy in relation to sleep. This is not the only thing that they sell. Their revenue doesn't solely depend on being able to sell the single product. This is just one of the things that they offer. And that just means they're not making as much of a profit as the other companies are. So if you're someone who experiences anxiety constantly, and it's really a chronic issue for you, here's my pro tip. If you tend to have a lot of heaviness in your chest, don't have the blanket all the way up to here, because you will feel like it's adding to that anxiety, to that like suffocating feeling, right? So all you want to do is just bring it down, you know, just below, right here, like right over your stomach. For some people, even this is too much. Like, it's totally fine to have it even like, you know, just from the waist down. And you may think this is silly, like why wouldn't you use the whole blanket? But it's just, it's important to be able to let yourself experiment with how the weight distribution feels to you. Not just like physically, but like how, you know, how you like emotionally respond to it, like really how it makes you feel. And it's, you know, it's amazing, but like the effectiveness of this isn't any less when it's just on half of your body. It's not like I can have this on, like I can have this blanket on top of me just like this, and I could fall asleep like just as quickly as I would if it was up here. So don't let the positioning of it confuse you. You know, just shuffle around in bed and figure it out. And obviously don't pressure yourself to get it right. You will eventually see what you find most comfortable. And if it's a really just like bizarre thing for you, I mean, you may want covering like only like a limb. I mean, just, you know, experiment and see what you think is most suitable for you. Just keep an open mind. Oftentimes weighted blankets are compared to like the feeling that you get when like you are hugged by someone. And it really is totally similar. Like, it just feels like you're being hugged. And you know, I would say this is a great thing for not only like anxiety or restlessness. Honestly, if you're a lonely person, you know, if you're missing someone or something in your life, and you feel like you need to be soothed in some way, like this can really do the trick. If it feels like a hug, I mean, how can you say no to that, right? So maybe that's a strange thing to mention, but hey, you know, like we all need love in our lives, and if you're short of that, there's ways to make yourself feel more whole. So what are my final thoughts? My final thoughts are this. This blanket is wonderful, it's lovely, it's wow, just great. Weighted blankets can definitely at times be a tricky thing, and I only say that because you need to be very intentional with this kind of purchase. What that means is you have to be really mindful of the weight, like what the weight of the blanket that you're ordering is going to be, because what you weigh matters. If you buy something that's too heavy, like you will not like it, it will not suit you, you will not want to use it, it will go to waste. So there is a really simple calculation that you can do so that you understand exactly the kind of weight that you should be ordering. I would like to stress, do not second guess what that calculation is telling you. Don't buy a heavier blanket because you feel like, oh, it won't make that big of a difference. The weight makes a difference. It really makes a difference. Blankets are usually not heavy like this. If you've never had a weighted blanket before, like you will not understand what this is like and what it's like putting it on top of you or removing it, like until you have it. It's a unique experience. It's interesting, it's cool. You know, it's amazing that it's really like it's effective and it works, but do not second guess the weight. Buy exactly what is recommended for your body weight, or buy something that weighs a little bit less. The option of buying something that weighs even a little bit less is that, you know, if you end up not using it on your entire body and you use it just over half of it, like you can always double up on the weight by folding it over. So there's options, there's ways to make the most of this kind of purchase and do not second guess the weight, okay? I really hope you take my advice on that, because otherwise you'll end up with something that you will not enjoy, and it will taint the experience for you because you didn't follow the rules. You didn't follow the suggested guidelines for what has been found to be the most effective thing. Just do the math and get it right the first time, and don't make a purchase you will regret. And that's all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. I hope you found this video to be insightful. And if you'd like to learn more, there will be a written review linked down below. And I'll see you guys next time for more, not pillow reviews, more blanket reviews and other videos as well. Bye.